Do I have to do a medical exam to get life insurance? That's always a good question. In the past, many people may have had stories of a nurse coming out or a phlebotomist and doing blood work, or them having to go to a doctor or do some type of, extensive medical exam. Here's the good thing, y'all. In 2024, a lot of these insurance companies do what they call non-medical exams, right? Non-medical underwriting. So ever since the pandemic, right, it was still pretty heavy on medical exams pre-pandemic. But ever since the pandemic, when they couldn't get nurses out and people didn't want people coming into their house and everything was shut down, all of these insurance companies really kind of changed the way that they were able to get someone approved. So now I'd probably say about 90%, maybe 80%, 80 to 90% of the insurance companies that are out there that you would look to get life insurance from will first do either an over the phone interview or an online interview about your health history, where basically someone's just asking you questions about your health history, or you're just typing out your answers to health history. That's where most insurance companies are starting. Some of them just pull the MIB report. They just pull your medical records, right? Every time you fill out an insurance application, you have to sign a HIPAA release form that says this insurance company has the right to look into my medical history, to pull medical records, to talk to my doctor. That's a part of the application that you sign. So some of these companies will just pull information. If you're one of those people that frequent the doctor or have to go to the doctor, they have those records. They have all of the records. They know what the doctor put down for notes. They know what medication you were prescribed. And just from that, they can potentially make a decision whether or not they're going to insure you. So most of these companies, you do not have to get a medical exam done anymore. Most of this stuff they have on file, or they can find it. Now, if they do want to get a little bit more clarification, maybe you're not someone that goes to the doctor often. Maybe you don't have a lot that pops up on your MIB report or any of your medical records. Maybe they might want to have a nurse do some blood work to make sure you're healthy, to make sure, maybe if you're a little overweight, they want to check your vitals. That may happen. But in 2024 now, in these times, this is like a secondary thing that they're doing. Typically, they're not sending it out right away. They're doing some type of interview first. Then if the insurance company feels the need that they need a little bit more information, then they may do the medical exam. Okay. But most companies aren't doing them. So this helps our clients. This helps people that we're getting covered. Let them know, like, hey, we can get you covered pretty quickly. Some of these underwriting processes, when it gets into the company, may take a week, 2 weeks. We've had some real special cases get approved in 3 or 4 days just because there's not much for them to pull or look at. Everything looks good. They send the approval. So things have changed a bit in the insurance industry. This is why we do this. This is why we educate. This is why we bring the awareness to you so that you understand that things have changed, and the way you might have known insurance to be is not the way that it is anymore, because as every industry does, we've evolved. It's continued to evolve to be more efficient and to get more people covered. I see that question in the chat, Darlene. Does medical exam depend on the face value amount? Yes, it could. Very good question. It absolutely could. Typically, when you're at a lower face amount, meaning a lower coverage amount, they are less likely to do medical exams, right? Or less likely to need to dive deep into someone's medical history. A lot of this is for what we call like final expense insurance, or if you've ever seen a commercial for Colonial Penn where they're offering you, $1,000 worth of life insurance coverage, or, $3,000 worth of life insurance coverage. They may not want to pay for a nurse and go do the blood work and all the things. It probably costs them more money to just go through that process. So very, very low face amounts, very, very low coverages, you're typically never going to do them. The higher coverage you get, more than likely, they're just going to want to do more of their due diligence. Again, Think about this from the insurance company's standpoint. If you're asking for $1 million of life insurance coverage, they're going to want to do their due diligence to make sure that like they're not going to have to pay this out in the next year, 2 years, 3 years, right? They want to make sure this is 30 years, 40 years, 25 years, something along those lines, because that comes out of their pocket. So to answer that question, yes, typically lower face amounts, less stringent, right? A little bit more lenient on the medical exam side. Higher up you go, typically they're going to maybe want to do a bit more. But again, every company is a little bit different. So that's where we, again, like I said in the beginning, we give that power of choice so we can know what's best for the people we sit in front of.